Barakim Habarim. Welcome to Messianic Moment Ministries. I'm Stephen Bruck. You know who you are. Today's the 23rd day of May, 2024. God told Abraham that the world will be blessed by his descendants. That's Genesis 22:18. And that has come to be, just as God said it would. But that blessing has also painted a big red target on our backs throughout the millennia. Admin stuff. Okay, quick. Please subscribe. If you've subscribed before, I've lost that list. I got hacked a couple of months ago now, and I lost that list. So please resubscribe here on YouTube, back on the website, and don't forget to like my Facebook page if you haven't done that. I also have a Facebook group called Just God's Word. It's a discussion group, and we have some interesting stuff in there. But please, you got to remember to click that you agree to the rules. Or, hey, I can't let you in. Hey, I can't even message you and say, hey, you forgot to click. So, do that, please. And if you like what you get here, you're going to like my books. I got 5 of them out there. One on the Torah portions. There's one I just finished recently. It's called Not the Holy Bible. Learn the Bible without having to read it. If you know anybody who asks questions or they're looking for it, that's the book for them. One on prayer, one about the traditional lies about Yeshua, and I even have a book, my very first book, called Back to Basics, God's Word versus Religion. So please check them out. Go to Amazon.com, put my name, Stephen R. Bruck, in the search panel there, and you'll see them all. They really, really are worth getting. And one last thing, of course, please share these messages with everybody you know. Make sure that you click the notifications and have it set up on the subscribe buttons, and share them with everyone, whether they're a believer or not. You never know. Throw the seeds out. Throw the seeds out. All right, so let's get into today's story again. Oh, it's not a story. It's a message. It's a lesson. It's a teaching. Whatever. The success of Isaac, all the way back to Isaac. Yeah, Abraham's kid. His success caused him to be actually asked to leave his home by the ruling king. You can find that. Look at it. It's Genesis 26:16. And of course, I mean, who doesn't know that when we were in Egypt, our success there led to our enslavement for somewhat 400 years? Later, in the world, during the Inquisition, when we had a large population in Spain and the Spanish colonies, Queen Isabella actually was jealous of the financial strength we had, besides, of course, the standard amount of anti-Semitism that's always been around. And in 1492, she ejected all the Jews from Spain and all Spanish-controlled countries, and you either were tortured and often killed or ejected unless you accepted as a Jew, you converted to Christianity. And the Jews that did that but really didn't, that time gave birth to the Hispanic Jews that we call conversos. I don't need to tell you about Hitler, who saw Jews as a threat to his control since we had such influence in both business and banking. And look at what's happening today. I mean, the success of the Jewish nation of Israel has caused a new increase in the hatred, not just of the Jewish state, but of the Jewish people. And let's face it, by definition, if you hate Israel, you hate Jews, because Jews and Israel are inseparable. And that's happening even here in America. I mean, the world has definitely been blessed by Jews. Did you know that nearly 22% of all Nobel Prizes have gone to Jews? Yet we represent only 0.2% of the global population, which, for those who aren't that great in math, that means out of every 1,000 people, there are only 2 Jews. And yet, throughout that very small percent of population, nearly a little more than 1/5 of every Nobel Prize ever given out went to a Jewish person. And let's not forget about music, literature, and comedy. I mean, Jews have been entertaining people for centuries. Some of the more recent names you may know. Did you know Natalie Portman? Did you know Harrison Ford was born to Jewish parents? Dustin Hoffman, Bob Dylan, Leonard Nimoy, Seth Rogen, Paul Newman, Daniel Radcliffe, Adam Sandler, Alan King, George Burns, of course, and Jack Benny. And what about music? We got Sammy Davis Jr., Paul Simon, Billy Joel, yeah, he's Jewish, Leonard Bernstein, Aaron Copland, George Gershwin, Vladimir Horowitz, even way back when, Felix Mendelssohn, and I've even read he was Messianic. And I haven't even started to name scientists. There's Niels Bohr, and of course Albert Einstein. Or in philosophy, the great Spinoza. Or psychiatry, Freud. And literature, Elie Wiesel, Arthur Miller. What about journalism? Do you remember the Watergate scandal? It was a Jewish reporter named Bernstein who broke that story. I mean, even in graphic arts, Stan Lee, the whole Marvel universe. Not to forget Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel, who started it all by creating Superman. And then there's, well, you get the picture, right? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. All this success, yet we're still hated and persecuted and despised all over the world. Why is that? I mean, is the world really that unappreciative? I don't think it's a matter of appreciation or respect, but simply that, well, those who don't have or can't do hate those that have and who can do. God made us his representatives, literally his kingdom of priests. That's in Exodus 19:6. And he made us his kingdom of priests to the world. And as such, hey, when you're standing on the top of the mountain, you're a big target for those at the bottom who want to be at the top. Now, I know, please, I know that sounds very egocentric and self-absorbed. So please, don't think that I believe we Jews are better than anyone else. In fact, we have shown the world throughout our history we're probably the worst. I mean, we've shown everyone how to sin, how to reject God, how to be rebellious, and how to be childish. But you want to know what the saddest thing about all that is? It's that instead of learning from our many, many mistakes, the world has chosen to not just imitate them, but has actually done even worse. Whereas we know what God said we are to do, but we often haven't, Christianity simply says, hey, we don't have to. I'm willing to wager that many of you reading this have also experienced what it's like to be a success or popular or been at the top of the class, so to speak, and found that suddenly you're secretly not liked by some who say they are your friends or outright hated by others, whether because of jealousy or just a sense that, when you do something they want to but can't, they project their frustration feelings on you. For whatever reason, being successful in this world means that you will be hated and rejected by many. So as I said from the start, being blessed, it's a two-edged sword. So be careful in whatever you do, because you will need to tread softly and watch where you step as you climb that ladder to success. Well, thank you again, as always, for being here. That's it for this week. So, Litrot, and an early Shabbat Shalom.